This is a story of a woman who made biggest financial fraud in Southeast Asian history. A real estate tycoon who embezzled 3% of country annual GDP in a period of 10 years and later received capital punishment from Vietnamese court. A wealthy property developer, Truong My Lan.
In the past few minutes, a court in Vietnam has sentenced a wealthy property developer to death for defrauding a bank of billions of dollars. 67-year-old Truong My Lan was found guilty of embezzlement, bribing state officials and violating bank lending regulations.
In today's video, we will know everything about Truong My Lan and how she embezzled such a huge amount of money. 67-year-old Truong My Lan, a high-profile businesswoman who chaired a sprawling company that developed luxury apartments, hotels, and much more, was arrested in 2022 in charge with embezzlement, bribing a state official, violating bank lending regulation, and later convicted for fraud amounting to $12 billion and illegally controlling Saigon Commercial Bank, allowing loans to her own company that resulted in a loss of $27 billion. Who is Truong My Lan? Lan was born in 1956 Saigon, South Vietnam, to a modest but entrepreneurial family. Her story began from Van Than Market, where she learned how to hustle from an early age. As a teenager, she and her mother became familiar to market selling cosmetics together in Ho Chi Minh City, the oldest market in Vietnam. Along with her family, Lan established a real estate firm by the name of Van Than Phat Group in 1992, when Vietnam set its state-run economy in favor of more market-oriented, one that was open to foreigners. Over the years, company grew and became one of the Vietnam's famous and richest real estate firms. Lan was involved in a merger of three struggling banks into Saigon Commercial Bank in 2011. The plan was approved by Vietnam's central bank, but later considered as the biggest mistake. From very next year, she began to use bank as her own cash cow. She illegally controlled 90% of total bank share, used thousands of ghost companies to grant loans to her own company and allies, paid bribes to government officials to keep quiet. She even paid bribes to Vietnamese Central Bank Chief Inspector Du Thi Nguyen, who later sentenced to life imprisonment for taking $5 million as a bribe. This is the biggest bribe ever recorded in Vietnam. While giving the verdict, courts say her action not only violate the law but also break the trust of individuals over the bank. When news spread in the country about Lan arrest, depositors rushed to the bank to withdraw their money, but the bank does not have this amount of money to return because bank given billions of loans to Lan's company. To avoid the disaster, Vietnamese Central Bank took over the NCB in October 2022. Since then, they have secretly poured billions of dollars, almost $24 billion, to protect innocent depositors. In April 2024, Lan was sentenced to death for embezzling $12.5 billion, and that the amount authority could just prove. Lan arrest shocked the nation, but death penalty verdict even more. Capital punishment in Vietnam is relatively common, but is rarely applied to financial crime, especially in a case of women. So, what is the story behind? Well, there is a lot of perspective. First published in a Time magazine sought to make example out of Lan. And this makes sense considering the verdict. The defendant action eroded the people's trust in the leadership of Communist Party and state. But the question is, was Lan sentencing more about the politics than the justice for a victim? Potentially, some experts think the Communist Party used her as a human sacrifice to show the world how they are taking corruption seriously. If the Lan had just received life imprisonment, this story probably would not make global headlines, and authority would not be able to push their narrative. In the end, Lan pled not guilty and blamed her subordinates. She admitted she was involved in restructuring the bank but did not misappropriate its funds. She also told the court she entered into banking industry without sufficient experience and lack of understanding of legal matters got her into this situation. But the court did not convince. Along with her, 79 other people charged, including Lan's husband, who sentenced to 9-year imprisonment, and Lan's niece 17 years. Two former executives of NCB Bank have fled the nation and are still on the run.